Hey there, friends. My name is Garrick, and welcome back to 3 Minute Thoughts. 3 Minute Thoughts is a podcast where in just a few minutes each weekday, we slow things down, walk through a chapter of the New Testament, and think about what it might mean for our day-to-day lives here now in 2026. Today, we're going to be looking at Luke chapter 22, and this chapter is heavy in every manner of speaking. It's the night everything starts to unravel. It begins with a quiet betrayal. Judas agrees to hand Jesus over, not in a loud and dramatic moment, but in the background, behind the scenes, which is often how things break down in our lives too, slowly, subtly, before anyone else sees it. And then Jesus gathers with his disciples for the Passover meal, and then he reframes this meal. He says in Luke chapter 22, verses 19 and 20, he says, "This is my body given for you, and this cup, this is the new covenant in my blood." What had always been a remembrance of God's past deliverance now becomes a promise of an even greater one. He's saying, this is about to cost me everything, and I'm doing it for you. But the disciples don't fully get it. In fact, right after this moment, they start arguing about which of them is the greatest. Now let that sit for just a second. Jesus is moving towards sacrifice, and they're debating their status. And if we're honest, we're not all that different. Even in some of the most meaningful moments in life, it's easy to drift back into comparison, recognition, positioning. But Jesus redirects them gently, but boldly in a way that only Jesus can. In verse 26, he says, "Rather, let the greatest among you become as the youngest, and the leader as one who serves." Greatness in God's kingdom looks like humility. Then things get even more personal. Jesus tells Peter that he's about to deny him 3 times. Peter pushes back hard, saying, "I'm ready to go with you both to prison and to death." But Jesus knows what's coming. And sure enough, under pressure, Peter folds. Not because he doesn't care, but because fear is louder in the moment than conviction. And that's the truth for us too. That's what Luke 22 exposes. Pressure reveals what's actually inside of us. Then we move to the garden. Jesus is in deep anguish. He's praying to have this cup taken away. It's raw. He's not detached. He's not pretending that it's going to be easy. He feels the weight and still chooses obedience. That's a different kind of strength than we usually think about. Not avoiding the hard thing, but walking through it faithfully. And then it all happens quickly. Judas arrives, Jesus is arrested, the disciples scatter, and Peter, just as Jesus said, denies knowing him. If we look at this chapter shows us that following Jesus is not just about what we say when things are easy. It's about what we do, what's on the inside when the pressure moves in. Jesus still moves toward the cross, even among our disobedience. He does it for Peter, he does it for the disciples, and he does it for us. So here's our question. What comes out of you when life squeezes? Be well, friends.